Okay, so I've completed this topic activity. Done quite a lot bit of work in it. It's had a lot of fun due to the topic content, but having fun making it, I guess. I mean, or at least enjoying and finding it interesting, kind of gives you an idea whether it's going to be engaging or not. So let's have a look at what I've done. So I'll take it from the start. Now, obviously, I knew it was a P4, so that gave me an idea of the kind of level of English they're going to have. The topic was music and cinema, cartoons and animation, and as discussed before, we're going to be looking at the battle between Pixar and Disney. So to keep it quite ambiguous, I just put animation crown. Hashtags, cartoons, animation, old school versus new school. And now I've got the objective. So students to discuss the topic, challenge the beliefs and express their feelings on the topic and why they feel one is better than the other. That's really what we're trying to do. Often when you look at the topic, this is quite free. I don't have any specifics on this, but often it'll say looking for a debate, looking for a listing, looking for ranking, do a SWOT analysis. There's many different parts and go underneath, but this one was free. If you're ever struggling with what's underneath, you can always contact myself or any other teachers in the company to help explain that to you. But for the duration of the course, obviously me. Okay, my introduction. Now, unlike the other ones, this is not really a test. If we were looking at the classic PPP method, this would be your lead-in. What is your first memory of cartoons? Do you have a favorite animated movie? What was the last time? Still giving an inkling as to what the topic's about, but not giving it away. And then I'm going to go straight into what's the topic. Now, this image here also part of my lead-in. Now, I was going to put cognate recognition into here, but I've decided not to. There's quite enough material in this as it is. So we're just going to stick with this image. And you can see from the teacher's perspective, I need to just put something in, Nice and simple. Okay, this teacher knows exactly what they're doing. This image will be opened, and when they open the image in the teacher platform, or however they're showing it, and then they've got a question to ask the student. Okay, so let's look at giving some stimulus to them. This is my engaging part, also part of my lead-in. Now, we've got some material. So you see, I'm working with images. Now, if you remember from the first video, I had a lot of material. What I actually did was I copied and pasted everything that I thought was relevant, and I ended up with about 1,000 words. And I just went through it and went, I don't need this, don't need this. Cut it down. I rewrote certain bits. Tried to keep the language as simple as possible. You can see here I've just identified some points of some Disney films. Don't need the titles because I can put images in. Everyone knows what those films are. Okay, and it keeps it simple. If I remember rightly, it's 98 words. I cut it down from literally 980 to 98. And 150 is your limit for each one. You don't want them reading and reading. We only have, for a topic activity, 15 to 20 minutes. So we don't want them reading and reading and reading and reading. We want them to get the stimulus as quick as possible and get them talking. Okay. And in the teacher's comments, set a look at some positive taken from Disney films. Okay. I'll notice I get ideas down and I have to check whether I've spelt them right first, but never mind. Here's a list of more Disney films to jog the student's memory, and I've just given a whole list down here. There's tons of Disney movies, and you can, the teacher, when they're teaching it, can bring any of these out, Dumbo, classic, Pinocchio, Fantasia, Cinderella, Peter Pan. There's loads of Disney ones that we can bring through, okay? And then I found a little bit of a negative. Try and play devil's advocate. So why not Mickey? Nice picture of all the images that are portrayed from Disney. And then a little bit from a feminist point of view of how, well, feminist or not, it's just a point of how they're shaping young women's minds and men's as to what a woman should be. And it's got some text there for them to look at and a word that I thought they might struggle with. Okay, and here, just examine the criticisms of Disney princesses. Why Woody? I've done exactly the same for Why Mickey. So pictures of the films and then little teaching points, why they're good, and get them to talk about them. And this is just to spark the idea, the conversation. I don't want them reading too much. Okay, and yet again, I've got all the Pixar films here. Okay, and what's due this year, next year. Okay, and then a negative. I've kept this a little bit briefer. Pixar, and it's got the 5 listings of why, and then some words I thought they might struggle with. Okay, good. Yet again here, examine the negative part of the film, instruction for the teacher. And right at the end, it's time for the student to decide who is the bestest. This is their activation, their production stage. So I've put a table down with some bullet points on each side, and also a little bit of information for the teacher, because some of it they might just not know. I mean, I didn't know this until I was researching and making this activity. So Disney now owns Pixar Films. They used to be owned by Warner Brothers. As a result, John Lasseter, who was the guy most important for Pixar, now works for Disney. Okay, so nice images to remember them of all the films, and little bullet points of what they felt on each one. Yeah. So the students can look at these and then what are they thinking? Use this language to old tropes, and there's an explanation of that because it's quite, I don't use that in my regular everyday English, so I had to go and look at what that meant too. Okay. So this is me. I've got 6 stages. You know, stage 1 is realistically they engage, and all of this 2 to 5 is stimulating, getting them thinking, giving them stuff maybe they haven't heard before, challenging their beliefs, and then getting them to make a decision. In fact, there will be an element of activation through all this, because they'll be telling you opinions as you go through the stimulation. I mean, the stimulation is going to lead to them producing language and telling their beliefs. And here my wrap up is literally just prodding it a bit more, seeing what I've got from them. I've mentioned a little bit of the target language here, but it's not necessary an introduction and a wrap up on a topic activity. Okay. And you see what I've popped. And yet again, target language, nice and simple. Okay. Just what I thought they would need, some images, some definitions. Some of these words I thought might be quite difficult for them, and I've tried to keep it related to the topic so it helps. Okay. So you see a little bit of the theory on this one. I mean, it's much more communicative method on when it comes to topic activities. It definitely is. We're using a little bit of direct method by the amount of imagery that I've popped into these. You know, I've used pictures rather than titles. It's all in target language. There's no translation in terms of what I've put together in this material. Okay. Images, and you see, trying to keep the text small. I think that's the biggest piece of text I had, but it was all needed. I think this is the one that really is going to challenge their belief on Disney. Okay. All right. I think that wraps up everything that's in that for you, showing you some of the theory and how I've applied it in a step-by-step. So we actually go over how I went through this. So I started off, no title, no hashtags, objective, a rough idea, no introduction, no wrap-up, no target language. I actually put my target language in my notes as I was going. Okay. I started off with 3 stages: engage, stimulate, and activate, and I built upon them and grew them out. As soon as I found and I went through the internet, scoured the internet to try and find something that was going to be interesting. The first thing I did was find something that was interesting, because everything else follows that. As soon as I get that engaging topic, it engages me, it makes me passionate about creating an activity, then all of that is going to go into the activity. If you're not interested, it's probably going to be a pretty boring activity. So it's trying to find that something that's going to make you go, oh, it's good. And as I said, it's investing the 5-10 minutes at the start before you even put anything down. And then before I start working about stuff, my brain works in a certain way. You might not be the same, but if I don't get all the ideas out of my head, I then can't think of the further stages. So I did a big dump of information. Okay, I collected everything I could get, images, I downloaded them, so on and so forth. I took all the text And I just put it in. I didn't care whether I was going to keep it or not. I just saved it and put it into each of those. And then from there, I built it up, put my structure together. And then I started to cut down, look at word count, what was needed, put the photos where I wanted it. Alright, I really hope this helps moving forward with topics. Any questions, you can always direct them towards myself or whoever else your instructors are, and we will deal with them. Okay.